Now let's see what are these fields of activity. Shloka number 3. Jagrita sthano bahishpragya saptang ekonvimshati mukha sthulabhug vaishvanarah prathama padah. The translation, Jagrita sthan, the waking, outward turned. Bahispragya means outward turned. 7-limbed. Sapta anga means 7-limbed. 19-mouthed. Ekonvimshati mukha. 19-mouthed means it has 19 mouths. Sthulabhug, gross object eater. Gross object eater. Yeah, like a monster that eats away gross objects. Vaishvanarah. Its name is Vaishvanarah. Prathamaha padah. This is the first field of activity. So what is the first field of activity? The waking, outward turned, 7-limbed, 19-mouthed, gross object eater, consciousness is called Vaishvanarah, the first field of activity. So what is this shloka? What does it mean? The shloka is saying that the waking state that you see is not separate from consciousness. Consciousness itself is the waking, outward turned, 7-limbed, 19-mouthed, gross object eater called the Vaishvanara. Yeah, it seems very fairy tale like, yeah, but it is not. What are these 19 mouths? So the 19 mouths, those who have done Ashtavakra with me, Patanjali, Upanishads in the past, Bhagavad Gita, I have explained these before. The 19 mouths are 5 sense organs called 5 Pancha Gyanendriya. The 5 sense organs. What are they? Pancha Gyanendriya. The eyes, ears, nose, tongue and the skin. These are Pancha Gyanendriya, 5 sense organs. Then there are 5 motor organs, Pancha Karmendriya. What are the 5 motor organs? The organs of speech, which will be the tongue and the larynx, the voice box. Yeah? Organs of speech is number 1. Organs of locomotion means legs. They take you from one place to another. Organs of locomotion is 2. Organs of action, that is number 3. Hands are organs of action. Number 4, organs of reproduction, the genital organs. And number 5, the organs of evacuation, the genital organs. Yeah, so these are the Pancha Karmendriya, the 5 motor organs. Then there is Pancha Prana, 5 pranas. Yeah, they are called Prana, Apana, Dhyana, Udana and Samana. Yeah, I have covered all this, if you remember, in Yoga Vashishta with slides, with different diagrams showing you exactly how the Pancha Prana move in the body. Yeah, so I've explained all this in the past. You can refer to Yoga Vashishta. So we are done with 5 sense organs, 5 motor organs and 5 pranas. These are 15. Then there is mind, intellect, memory and ego. 15 plus 4, 19. Total 19 mouths. Why are they called mouths? Because with this you experience the world. The Sthula Bhug. What is Sthula Bhug? You consume the objects of senses. You consume the world through total 19 mouths. Yeah. Sthula Bhug means the consumer of gross. Yeah. Gross objects means the objects of this world, not gross as in dirty, gross as in not subtle, that way gross. These are clear, 19 mouths are clear. Then we'll go to Saptanga, the 7 limbs. The 7 limbs are the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, ether, and air. Those are the 5 elements, plus sun and the heavens. So the 7 limbs has been taken from the Chandogya Upanishad, which was an Upanishad written before Mandukya. In that, it is explained that this gross object eater consciousness, this monster-like consciousness, how can this consciousness eat all the gross objects? So it is poetically defined that the heavens are its head, and the sun are his eyes, and the wind is his breath, and his mouth is fire. Sky is his body, and oceans his bladder, and the earth his feet. It's only an imagination for this waking world, for the entire waking dream world. And it's a poetic description written in the Chandogya Upanishad. So from that, the 7 limbs were borrowed by Mandukya sage and put into Mandukya. So that is how this waking consciousness eats all the gross objects during the waking state. And how does it do it? It is Bahispragya, the second word in the shloka. Bahispragya, it is outward turned. That part of consciousness that is outward facing, that is the eater of the gross objects. And it satiates itself only through these gross objects. If you have experientially reached Ajatavada, you can see, oh, this is the meaning of consciousness has its own activity. When I see in my own experience, an individual consciousness in the waking form is called Vishwa. So this consciousness, which is called Vishwa, this waker consciousness itself is the waking world, is the waking subject, is the waking objects. It consumes the waking objects during the duration, whatever the duration of the waking state. So the consciousness is the waker. The word Vishwa is given to the consciousness which is the waker. Vishwa is not the subject. The monks who just explain it philosophically many times call the subject, the body-mind, as the waker. The people who have experientially recognized this from Ajatavada and say there is only consciousness, where is the body-mind? How can you call it the waker? It is an empty shell, does not exist. So is this clear? Vishwa is the waker consciousness that consumes the waking world objects through a waking subject, which is the peephole. That is just a way for the consciousness to consume the waking world objects. This one consciousness is called Vishwa. Now, what about the consciousness which is enjoying through Pamir? What about the consciousness that is enjoying through Veda? What about the consciousness through Sindhu? Individually, it is called Vishwa, but all together, the collective Vishwas are called Vaishvanara. It is the cosmic form of all the waking states together. All the waking subjects plus all the waking objects, all the waking worlds together is called Vaishvanara. It is called Virat, the vast. In some scriptures, in Bhagavad Gita, it is called Vishvarupa. Yes. Mandukya is very clear. There is only consciousness. The world is not born, never born, aja. The world was never born. Clear? In summary, the field of activity of consciousness, called the waking consciousness, appears to project a world. It's only an appearance. Just like in your dream state, there is a world. It just appears. This is happening, that is happening. A dream tiger is running behind the dream subject. There is an entire world. The whole story is created. It is nothing but the way a hologram is projected. Finally, all the Nama Rupa is the same consciousness. It is called the waking consciousness. Yes? Is this shloka clear? The waking consciousness is what is meant by Jagritosthana, the waking consciousness. It clarifies everything from the beginning of Advaita level 1 till now. It clarifies, there is no matter. Matter does not exist. That which I consider as matter, that mistake happens when I say creation exists before I. This is only a false belief. I don't have proof of a creation outside of my awareness. There's nothing like the world that is independent of my own awareness of consciousness of Brahman. Very clear? So the first field of activity is the waking consciousness, which is outward turned, 7-limbed, 19-mouthed, gross object consumer called the Vaishvanara. There is no separate, individually existing universe made of objects out there. It's simply a projection, like a hologram projects a name and form. If you go to touch it, it's nothing but light. Similarly, there is nothing but consciousness, nothing but awareness. Clear? So I'll leave you with one last point in this shloka before we move ahead. If this has become very clear, this point should be very clear experientially for all the Ajatavadins, that waker is equal to the waking state, is equal to the waking world. Waker is equal to the waking state, is equal to the waking world, is equal to consciousness. These are not separate entities. one single consciousness that projects Nama Rupa and their Vyavhara. That projection of Nama Rupa Vyavhara confuses me. And I assume the Nama Rupa Vyavhara to be reality. But the reality behind is the waking consciousness. That is the projection. So, homework from this verse, you experiment, you recognize through your self-exploration, do a little bit of self-inquiry and see, is the waker equal to the waking state, equal to the waking world, equal to the waker consciousness, which is Vishwa. If this is clear, I will quickly complete Shloka 4 and 5 because it is on exactly the same lines, and then we can again have a little QA session. Shloka 4. Swapnasthano antapragnya saptanga ekonvimshati mukha pravivikta bhuka taijaso dvitiya padaha. The dreaming consciousness that is inward turned. That is also seven-limbed. Yeah? Next word is seven-limbed, saptanga. Then is ekonvimshati mukha, that is 19-mouthed. Pravivikta bhuka means subtle object eater. Taijaso, its name is Taijasa. Dvitiya padaha. This is the second field of activity. Yeah? So now, if you understood the waker consciousness, now you understand, oh, it is the same consciousness, the same space of awareness that knew about the waking subject and object, and the same space of awareness knows about the dream subject and object. Oh yes, I know this. I can see this so clearly. So this dreaming consciousness is called Taijasa. The one corresponding to Vishwa was Vaishvanaraha. The one corresponding to Taijasa is Hiranyagarbha. So he says, Antapragya. Now this consciousness, which was outward turn, becomes inward turn. Antapragya. Inward turn consciousness means that consciousness which is facing inwards towards the mind. Where is your dream character? Where is your dream world? It's all in the mind. So this consciousness is inward turn towards the mind. This consciousness is called Taijasa. Dream character is not called Taijasa. Yeah? This consciousness which is inward turned. This is the consciousness that is dreaming. Yeah? It is the dreamer consciousness. It is called Taijasa. And this Taijasa and that Taijasa and that Taijasa, that Taijasa, all the Taijasas collectively are called Hiranyagarbha. In English, Hiranyagarbha will become the cosmic form of all the dream states together. Yeah? If you want to translate Hiranyagarbha, cosmic form of all the dream states together. Vaishvanaraha is the cosmic form of all the waking states together. Vishwa, individual waking consciousness. Taijasa, individual dreamer consciousness. Very clear? Now remember, it is the same consciousness, no? So the same 19 mouths, the same 7 limbs, the same things that you see in the waking world, earth, water, fire, ether, air, all the gross objects that consume my attention. Oh, the same things I see in my dream. Yes, the same 19 mouths, the same 7 limbs. Everything is similar. That's why I did the shlokas together, because there is not much difference other than the labels. Again, I'll repeat. Just like Ekta is a family member at home. When Ekta goes to work, she becomes the professional. Yeah, when Ekta goes out into Jnana Sangha, there she becomes the teacher. These are 3 different fields of activity of Ekta. Same Ekta. Yes. Similarly, same Brahman consciousness. Here it is the waker consciousness. Here it is the dreamer consciousness. Now we will go towards the sleeper consciousness. Very clear? 3 different fields of activity. They are not parts, they are not limbs. You are not dividing consciousness. You cannot divide. You can't say, oh, I am divided as a family member and divided as a professional. You're not divided. It's my field of activity. Very clear? Yes. So, different projections of the same consciousness: waker consciousness, dreamer consciousness, and sleeper consciousness. Yeah. So, just like in the waking world, there is nothing like the world made of matter. Similarly, in the dream world, what do we think? This is a dream world made of mind, made of thought, made of ideas. Thought and idea stand out separately from me, the consciousness that is aware of thought and idea. Yeah? No, wrong understanding. There is nothing like thought. There is nothing like idea. There is nothing like the mind that stands out separately from the consciousness. There is only consciousness itself projecting the hologram, Nama Rupa of a thought that arises and falls, Nama Rupa of a feeling that arises and falls, Nama Rupa of a concept or idea that arises and falls. Whatever function it does, I get confused by that, thinking it is separate from me. See, it is functioning. The thoughts are going haywire. I have so many thoughts. Oh, it is separate from me. It is attacking me. That's how we have developed the idea of a mind. Mandukya says there is no dream world made up of mind. Does not exist. It only appears. It is not. What is the difference between that which appears but is not? You have a window next to you? Look outside. What is the color of the sky? You see blue, right? Did you do your physics experiments very seriously in school? Refraction of light, do you remember? What does science say? What is the color of the sky? It does not have any color. Still, when you look up, what do you see? You see blue. You know it is not blue. You're very, very, very clear. You did it in your physics laboratory. You did all in-depth study of refraction of light. You understand that the sky is not blue. But when you look up, what do you see? You still see blue. Do you understand the meaning of appearance, but it is not? Yes? Same thing. Nama Rupa Vyavhara only appears. It is not. Yeah? The world of matter simply appears. It is not. In the dreaming state, the world made up of the mind appears. It is not. Very clear? Yeah. There is a dreamer consciousness that is projecting a variety of images which have nama rupa vyavahara, name, form and function. That name, form and function is the weapon of the projecting power of Maya that fools me. And I think it is separate, it is different, it exists independently. Just like in a hologram, images are projected, but they are just light. I feel, oh, there is really an image, there's really a woman out there, there's really a man. I go to touch and I cannot touch because there isn't. It appears, but it is not. Super clear? Yeah. So, Taijasa is the dreamer consciousness. It means consciousness projecting mind, thoughts, ideas, images, feelings. That is one consciousness projecting the mind is Taijasa. When that consciousness projects all the minds, collective minds, that is Hiranyagarbha, the cosmic mind. Yeah? So homework for the Ajatavadins. Ask yourself the question, is the dreamer equal to the dreaming state, equal to the dream world in my experience, or not yet? Yeah? Dreamer is nothing but the dreamer consciousness. So it's very clear. Then we go to shloka number 5. Yatra supto na kachana kamam kamayate na kachana swapnam pashyati tat sushuptam. Sushupta sthana ekibhuta pragyana ghana eva anandmayo yananda bhukka cheto mukha pragyas tritiya padaha. Whether consciousness is self-ignorant. Supto means self-ignorant. Na kachana kamam kamyate. It is desireless. Do you recognize this? In deep sleep, you don't have any desires. Yeah? So, the consciousness that is self-ignorant, it doesn't know itself and it is completely desireless. Na kachana swapnam pashyati. It does not see any dreams, dreamless. Tat sushuptam. That is the deep sleep consciousness. Sushupta sthana ekibhuta. Ekibhuta means it is not divided into subject and object. Not divided, not differentiated. Ekibhuta. Pragyana ghana. Pragyana ghana. Everything is merged into the seed form. Yeah. First one is it is not divided. Second word is it is merged into the seed form. Yeah. Eva anandamayo. Absolutely blissful. Blissful means what? Absence of experience. There is no experience there. Yeah, waking state has experience. Dream state has experience. This experiencing itself takes away the sense of joy, the sense of peace. In deep sleep, it is ever blissful, absence of experience. Ananda Bhuk, it eats bliss. It's a bliss eater. Cheto Mukha, this word is very important. Cheto Mukha means it is the doorway for the waking and dreaming state to come out. From deep sleep state comes dream state. From dream state comes the waking state. The waking state collapses into the dream state. The dream state collapses back into the deep sleep state. So what does deep sleep state become? It becomes the doorway for this appearance and disappearance. So Cheto Mukha means doorway consciousness. And it is called Pragya. Pragya is its name. This is the third field of activity. So what is the meaning of Pragya? Pragya itself means the consciousness that is not projecting anything, yet it carries the potentiality in seed form to project in the future. But right now it is in its causal state, seed state. It is the cause of the dream and the waking state. Yes? And all the causal states together, all the pragyas together are called Ishvara. This Ishvara is the God of the Dvaitam path. So when people on the Dvaitam path pray, who are they praying to? They are praying to themselves in the deep sleep state. That tomorrow's projection, please let it be according to my wishes. That is prayer. That is worship. So who are you praying to? You are praying to your own self. There is a movie which Nana Patekar, an Indian hero, he has a plate in his hand with a diya, like a little candle, a light, and he has his own photograph up on the wall and he's worshipping himself. That is what we have been doing all our lives. We have been worshipping our own selves. Yeah. This is Ishvara on the path of Advaita Vedanta. This is Ishvara. The deep sleep state, collective deep sleep states are together named as Ishvara or God. What is it? It is nothing but consciousness of the waker and the dreamer merged together in the sleep state by the power of Maya. This is the second power of Maya. Which was the first? The projecting power of Maya. Its first power that fools me is Nama Rupa Vyavhara. The second power that fools me is this, where the consciousness of both waking and dream states is merged in the seed form. Yes, this is Ishvara. This is what the Dvaitam path worshippers worship without understanding what they are doing. And why are they not understanding? Because of this power of Maya. Is this clear? Yeah. This is where Advaita Vedanta becomes different from the Dvaitam path, where Advaita then drops all rites and rituals. For this reason, it is nothing but worshipping yourself, and the ego only gets more inflated. The belief in the I as the physical body mind only strengthens. So this is where Advaita becomes different from the Dvaitam path. Now, the most important part of the deep sleep state I already explained to you in the beginning. The recording happens here. The recording of the absence of objects happens in the deep sleep state. This is how the sages, the yogis, recognized that knowing happens at the level of consciousness or awareness. This is how they recognize that consciousness or awareness has memory. These are the very important findings which a strong spiritualist can recognize when he does a proper self-inquiry into the deep sleep state. So then homework for the Ajatavadins. The deep sleeper, which is the deep sleeper consciousness, is equal to the deep sleep state, is equal to the darkness of deep sleep. Do I recognize this experientially yet? Very clear?